Hello, and welcome to Draft Day. My name is John Fleming. I am one of the hosts of Draft Day. I am joined by Jason Bradshaw, who is also one of the hosts of Draft Day. It appears he finished the bite of ice cream he was eating just a second ago. So I presume, is able to talk. Is that correct? Am I accurate?
You are accurate in that I am able to talk. Although, vamp for a minute, I need to go take something to my wife really quick.
Okay. So I guess I'll explain the basic premise of what we're going to be doing with this episode. We'll just get right into it. So, as we addressed last week, we've had a lot of just kind of busy life things come up. Like nothing that's like needs to be worried about or anything, but just we've been busy. So it was a long time between episodes, but this episode we're getting right back on the horse, despite the fact that we just released an episode a couple days ago. Three, I think. Um, Three from now, four for later. Hey, I'm vamping. But anyway, we are doing an episode that required very little preparation and is honestly just going to kind of be fun for us. Will it be fun for listeners? I don't know for 100% sure. I do know that I'm stealing it directly from a podcast, and I've enjoyed listening to it when they do it. So hopefully it works for us. We're going to play a little game of 20 questions here. Maybe we'll adjust the number of questions depending on how we're doing. Who knows? But what I have, and I will at least cite my source. If we're going to steal from a podcast, we should probably at least note it. But
Real
the
small one, I'm
podcast,
sure not many people have heard. So,
I mean, I don't know what its popularity is. I'm pretty sure it has more listeners than we do, but I can't say that for sure. So it's the podcast Puck Soup, which is about hockey. They have they kind of have a series of games that they play, but one that they play that's pretty easy to recreate is they use like a random number generator and get to an NHL player that played at least 1,000 career games, of which there are. I just sent you this a couple days ago. There's 398 players who have played at least 1,000 games in the NHL. So there's like a decent sample, but it's still like a somewhat notable club to get into. And they just ask yes or no questions to try to deduce who the player is. And we're going to basically just do a spin-off of that. So we do have the NHL players with 1,000 games thing. That's part of our repertoire. We kind of stuck with Big Four sports here. We'll be looking at baseball players that either played 2,000 career games if they're a position player or started 400 games as a pitcher. We don't really have a way in for relievers.
yeah.
Well. NFL, we have players that played in at least 210 games, which is a little bit higher of a threshold, but also like relative to the other sports, but also like a lot of the players are kind of more anonymous. I made sure that the players that I deduced were at least players that Jason would have heard of. And
I did the same. I didn't pick any random people from a long time ago.
Yeah, and basketball is, I mean, the sport that certainly runs most parallel to hockey in terms of like number of games, same number of games in a season, but guys tend to have slightly shorter careers, so we lowered the threshold to 920 games, which still gives us a smaller sample of guys to choose from than hockey, but if we had done 900, it would have suddenly been a way larger amount, and rather than like kind of parsing those 20 games, we're just going to go for it. So I have prepared for Jason. So I have 3 players each in each of the major sports, each of baseball, football, basketball, hockey. They were randomly generated. The only criteria is they're players that I've heard of and they're players that I reasonably think that Jason would have heard of. There is definitely some variance in terms of difficulty. What I'm thinking is if you want to just guess, say a number 1 through 3 once we pick a sport, I'll just go with that player. Okay. And then how is yours set up as far as like, do you just have one player for each or do you have multiple?
I went ahead and since you told me you had picked 3, I have 3 for you as well. So
Okay, cool. It's gonna be very funny if there's any overlap, but
I was thinking that like the odds of that would be very like
The odds are low, but they're not astronomical. Like they're the
no,
odds of like winning $50 on a scratch off, not the odds of winning the lottery, like the Powerball
right,
lottery.
right, but also
Okay.
not the odds of winning, you know, $2 or a free ticket.
Yeah. So do you have a preference on which sport we start with?
No, I mean I think
Okay.
the good news is when you get into guys who play this many games, like even sports that I'm not as strong with, that like you said, it's you're getting into guys for the most part who we've heard of. So
Yeah, I think with football, basketball, and hockey, I had to like retract guys. The guys from baseball were, I mean, I'd probably have heard a higher percentage of the baseball players in the other sports just because it's a sport that I follow. But I think that they're relatively famous and or modern. So
yeah, I
let's
try
start
to
with
stay a little more modern and or famous. I didn't, with my
yeah. I mean,
guys.
I went by the random number generator, but I was willing to put my thumb on the scale if that's the
Sure.
right term. But so um, let's start with hockey because that is the sport that this game is kind of based on. So
Sure.
okay? So guess a number or pick a number one, two, or three, and I will pull up this player on Hockey Reference.
All right, let's go three.
Okay. So I will say that for anyone who is listening along, with this game, you can only ask yes or no questions that can be determined from Hockey Reference and from the player's page. And
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much on the board. Like I said, this is a player that you have certainly heard of. I will tell you there is one player out of these three that is like notably less famous than the other two, and this is not that one player. So
Okay.
I think you have a good chance, but we'll I'll keep tally of how many questions you have, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Now,
Start firing off questions.
as I just now go back into the mindset of when we were playing this game in the parking lot before the Battlehawks playoff game.
That's right.
Um, yeah, that's right. This isn't just for you folks. This is what John and I literally do when we see each other a few times a year. Is we play this for hours.
We did this at a bar in Springfield the last time I saw you too.
We did. We did do that while we were watching random like UFC fights and random
Yeah, there was some
just
random
random.
tennis on, I think.
Yeah, I believe the was it the Gold Cup third place game was going on between like Canada and somebody.
That sounds right. We played it. We started playing it when we were tipsy, and we stopped playing it when we were beyond tipsy. So
Everybody in the bar getting tipsy. Huh. But all
yeah,
right. I will ask you first. Is this player Canadian?
yes,
Really narrows it down. Is this player did this player play in the 1990s?
no,
Did this player play in the 2000s?
no,
So I can reasonably probably expect based on your thing. But I guess to make sure this player played in the 80s.
yes,
So at least part in the 80s. That gives me a thing. So even if they go back 70s, even 60s, I don't think it's really gonna cut me down too much. Is this player a forward?
yes. You're at 5 questions.
Five. All right. Yeah, five, and I've determined Canadian forward who played in the 80s. Hmm. This player win at least one Stanley Cup.
Yes,
So did this player win multiple Stanley Cups?
Yes.
Does this player win multiple Stanley Cups in the 1980s?
No.
Did this person win multiple Stanley Cups in the 70s?
Checking right now. I believe I know the answer, but I'm just trying to see where on Hockey Reference it would be. Oh, championships. So you're asking if he won multiple ships in the 1970s?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Okay, so now let's think about who won the Stanley Cups in the 1970s.
So you're at 9 questions.
9 questions. Okay. Did this player win multiple Stanley Cups with the Montreal Canadiens?
No.
Okay, that eliminates a lot of the 70s.
It does.
If I'm not mistaken, but there are other teams that won 2 in the 70s. So, okay, let's narrow it down. Did this player win multiple Stanley Cups in the 1970s with the Philadelphia Flyers?
No.
Okay, so you went with the Bruins then. Got it. I think those may have been the only 3 teams to win in the 70s, actually. I think Boston won 70 and 72. 74 and 75 were Philly. And Montreal might have been the rest of the 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
That I don't know. I believe you're correct that those are the only 3 teams that won multiple Stanley Cups in the 70s.
So we're looking at a guy from the 70 and 72 Bruins. That's a forward. Okay, we're getting there.
I should clarify, you asked if he won multiple with the Canadians. You asked if he won multiple with the Flyers. You asked if he won multiple, just period.
So you're okay. I'm making an assumption. You're not saying that he didn't win them with Boston, but you're saying that technically the questions I've asked have not led me to that. Did he win? Did he win
Correct.
2 Stanley Cups with Boston in the 1970s?
He did, yes.
Okay.
So you're at 12.
Okay. 12. All right. But now that I've literally narrowed down the team, this makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so let's think here. Let's go to things like goals, maybe. So does this player have over 500 career goals?
Yes.
There's literally only a couple of names that come to mind. Should I throw out a guess right now just to see? Could. Oh, shoot. Yeah, why not? Let's get crazy here. Is it Phil Esposito?
It is.
Okay. I'm like, he was by far the prolific
Yeah.
goal scorer.
Yeah, I'm not sure that, based on the question you asked, I'm not sure that there's a single other player that would qualify, because I guess Johnny Busick would have been on both of those teams, and I think he got 500 goals, but I don't think he played in the 80s.
Yeah.
And Esposito barely played in the 80s, but he played a little bit.
Woo!
All right. So should I guess hockey now?
Yeah. Give me a 1, 2, or 3.
Okay. Let's go 3.
3. You got it.
All right. Let me know when you have the player page pulled up.
Yep, I have it pulled up. I will say of my 3, this is definitely the least known
Cool. All right.
of my 3, but
is this player Canadian?
no.
And are you going to keep track of the number of questions, or do you want me to?
Nope, I get it.
Okay. Is this player from Europe?
Yes.
Okay. Did this player play in the decade of the 2000s?
Yes.
Okay. Did this player win at least one Stanley Cup?
Alternate. So they had something at the bottom, you said, right?
Yeah, that's where the years are. It should say at the top of the page whether they've won a cup.
Oh, in that top right area.
Yeah.
Does not appear this person has won a Stanley Cup.
Okay. Did this player is this player a forward?
Yes.
Okay. Did this player play in the 2010s?
Yes.
Is this player a center?
No.
Okay, so a winger who did not win a cup, 2000s, 2010s, European. Is this player from Sweden?
No.
Okay. Did this player ever make a postseason All NHL team?
Sad. Is that in the awards section on Hockey Reference? I don't.
Yeah, it should be in the top part too.
Okay. No, this person not.
Okay. So probably a decent player, but probably not a great player. Is this player Russian?
No.
Okay. How many questions have I said?
I got 8.
Okay. Is this player from Finland?
They are not.
Hmm. So I feel like I've really covered the big European countries for hockey.
You've covered the 4 nations, except for the U.S., but obviously it's not European. So.
Yes. Did this player ever score at least 40 goals in a season?
No.
Okay. Hmm. Is this player from the Czech Republic or Czechia?
Yes, this player was born in, at the time, Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. Um. Hmm.
Halfway there.
This player ever play for the St. Louis Blues?
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Think. So there are a few Czech wingers that came to mind. I don't think they'd be anywhere close to 1,000 games, so that would be an issue. Did this player play for? No, I'm not going to ask that. Did this player play for the Blues in the 2010s?
No.
Okay. Let's see. This player play for 4 or more NHL teams.
Yes.
Okay. He's like a really awesome player, whoever he is.
It's
Clearly,
I remember him with the Blues, and I was shocked at how many games he had. That's why I had to pick him.
this player ever play in a playoff game with the Blues?
Mhm. Sorry, scrolling to the post. Oh, where's the postseason stats? Oh, it's
If
another
you can't
tab.
find the post,
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, if you
it's
just
a
want
tab.
to say, if you just want to say whether like I know what seasons they like. If you want to just say like whether he was on a
He
team in the year they made it.
well, yeah. I mean, he did not play a playoff game for. No.
Okay. Hmm. There is one guy that I keep thinking of, but I can't imagine he played 1,000 games. Um, did this player play with the Blues? No, never mind. I'm gonna guess the player that I keep thinking of. Is it Peter Chayanek?
It is not Peter Shayanek.
Okay. But like I said, did not think he played 1,000, but I feel like other than that, he's pretty much fit all the criteria that I had on there. Other than maybe 2010s.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We played for 4
Hmm.
teams. I don't know if he even bounced around that much.
Yeah. Let's see. Did this player play
Five left. By the way.
5 left? Did this player play the majority of his career on a team in the current NHL Central Division?
No.
Okay. Did this player play? Did the team that this player played the most of his career games with play in um, the Metropolitan Division as it currently stands?
Let's see. Sorry, I always have to look because I can never keep Atlantic and Metropolitan right.
So the Metro would be the
I got
three.
I got it pulled up.
Okay.
And no.
Okay. So I'm guessing it's probably Atlantic. Hmm.
Or I threw you off.
Very possible. Let's see. What teams are in the Atlantic? Did this player ever
I can
play?
give you the Atlantic teams if you would like. I'm fine to do.
No, that's okay. Did this player ever play for one of the Eastern Conference Canadian teams? So Montreal, Toronto, or Ottawa?
No.
Okay.
2 questions left.
Oh
And
boy.
for the record, I think we're in agreement too, but like you could ask 20 questions and then get a guess at the end of the 20 questions. So your 20th
Okay,
question
cool.
doesn't have to be a guess.
Yeah. So this is a question that's about hockey reference since you're currently on it. Does
Mhm.
it give information about like Olympics?
Mm. Uh, it does say other standard. It does say give other teams, and says
Okay.
yeah. So it does have Olympics on here. Yeah,
Okay. Did this player play in the 2006 Olympics?
representing the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
I mean, who else would he represent? But no, he did not.
Okay.
Final question.
I guess a different Olympics would not be outside the realm of possibility, but I think that's probably the most likely. I am really struggling here. Um,
This is a tougher one for sure. This is one that maybe feels easier to me just because this was in my prime hockey loving this.
did this player ever play for one of the Florida teams?
Yes.
Okay.
Who is your guess?
Let's see. My guess is going to be um I can only think I thought of one Czech player who's a winger from the Florida teams, but I don't believe he ever played for the Blues and probably didn't play in the 2000s either. So, I'm not going to go with him. Um uh I'm not going to hold up for what's probably not going to be. I'll just go with Andres Palat.
It is incorrect. We
Okay.
were looking for star of the 2006 2007 Blues, who actually played in all 82 games for them that season.
Wow.
Radek Dvorak.
Oh my god. I legit do not remember him being on the Blues. That is
I
a
did.
year I did not pay attention to hockey at all.
Oh, and
Okay.
he
I've heard of
has
the player. It's not,
yeah,
but
and
yeah.
he has 1,260 career games played.
He's got to be up there or down there, depending on how you want to perceive it, for like least relevant player that's had that many games. That's nuts.
590 points and a point share of 48.5 in that many games.
Good God. Okay.
I told you it was the toughest one. The other two I have are not that tough.
All right. Let's switch the sports up though.
All
Which
right, let's
sport
do
would
it.
you like to do next?
You know what? I have Thursday Night Football on silent while we're doing this podcast. Let's do NFL.
All right. For one
I
through
assume
three.
I didn't ask you, but I assume we're using Pro Football Reference for this.
Yes.
Okay.
One through
Uh,
three.
let's go two.
Good news is you picked by far the most gettable player of the three that I have up here. Okay. You may start asking questions whenever you'd like.
All right. See, I'll admit the hockey was an easier one to start with because me and you went back and forth on hockey for a long time. This one I got to think of potentially different questions. Like, not going to ask where they're from. Although if you got a non-American, that would be great. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, you could narrow it down by asking like what state they're from.
or I guess, yeah, you could do college more with this too, I guess. Um, but I'll start out with trying to narrow down a time frame. So did this player play in the 2000s?
Yes.
This player play in the 2010s?
No.
So probably mostly in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Don't think I really need to. Has this player been part of a Super Bowl winning team? Have they won a Super Bowl?
No. No Super Bowl.
Is this person a kicker?
No.
Okay, because there's a lot of kickers on this list. So get that one out of the way. Never won. Okay. All right. Let's ask this player an offensive player.
Yes.
Huh? Would you define this player's position as a skill position on offense? I.e., is this person
With
not? I would say if they're not an offensive lineman, you could throw tight end
okay.
in there as well. But
This player is not an offensive lineman.
okay, okay. Is this player, jeez, quarterback?
No.
This player a receiver?
Yes.
Okay, got a receiver who's never won a Super Bowl and played in the 2000s. Okay. Did this player ever appear in a Super Bowl? Is that on there? To say if they made the Super Bowl, did not win.
It's not listed on there, though I'm willing to give you the answer if
Okay.
you'd like me to just do it. This player did not appear in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so they never even made a Super Bowl. Jeez. That takes some of the guys out that I was thinking of. Okay. Did this player attend college in at a school that is currently aligned within one of the Power Four football conferences?
Yes.
Here. Was this player drafted in the 1980s?
Yes.
Was this player drafted in the first 2 rounds of their draft?
No. No.
Did this player attend a school that is currently in the SEC?
No.
Big Ten
Yes.
or
You're at 14
B1G?
questions.
Okay. Man, this is tough. Like to like narrow it down on this now is hard, I feel like. Did this player have at least, trying to think here. Does this player have at least 15,000 career receiving yards?
No.
Okay, so let's say. Did this player ever play for the St. Louis Rams?
No.
That's a dumb question. I should have said the Rams because they would have
I
been
will.
validated.
I will give you that he also never played for the Los Angeles nor Cleveland Rams.
The Cleveland Rams, I don't believe existed in the 1980s when he was drafted.
You could be right there.
I,
You have 4 more questions before you have to submit a guess.
all right, Big Ten receivers. Did this player attend Ohio State?
Yes.
Wow, that was a Hail Mary that is helpful there. Holy shit. Um, because I got a name that comes right to mind. But I'm trying to think. I think he might have been drafted higher. I can't remember. No, I think he might have left. Okay, let's see. Is this player in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay. Ohio State 80s. Golly, I got lucky that Ohio State. Is it Chris Carter?
It is Chris Carter.
Okay. God damn it.
Yeah.
That
Good,
was
good call with the Ohio State question. That was
I was nowhere close until that Ohio State guess.
I was a little worried with the 15,000 yard question because he's at 13,899, and it's based on the fact that Chris Carter is like really good. I assume the 15,000 yard club is not you guys.
Yeah, it was more of, is he elite or is he really good? It's kind of because, and I was trying to just think because
Yeah, I
Rice
mean,
is almost at 23,000, I think, but that's like
yeah,
otherworldly. I forget because he also
yeah.
played forever
Also,
too.
also did not play in a power conference in college
True.
and won a bunch of Super Bowls,
Mississippi
but that's
Valley
beside
State
the
has
point.
not made it there yet.
Not quite. All right, so
All right. So NFL, you pick 1 through 3.
I'll choose one.
1. Alrighty. All right.
All right, is this
Ready when you are.
player an offensive player?
Yes. Well, okay. I guess not technically.
Well, I was going to ask, do his listed positions include quarterback, one of the running back spots, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line?
No, it is not.
Okay.
So it gives it
I'm
away what
wondering
this
if
guy
that's.
probably is.
I guess that means he's a kicker. I don't really know what else could even be construed as a
He's a kicker.
offensive position.
I guess okay, so establishing going forward, we'll consider kickers, punters, long snappers to be special teams guys.
Yeah, I will say I did not have any long snappers on my group, but yeah. Okay, so he's a kicker. Okay, so that's you know what if you want to count that as 2 questions, that's like pretty handy information to have. I am not opposed to that.
You're just at 2 total now. You're fine.
Did this player play in the 2000s?
Yes, he did.
Did he play in the 2010s?
Joe did.
Okay. Did this player win a Super Bowl?
He did win a Super Bowl.
Okay. Did this player win a Super Bowl for multiple teams?
No.
Okay. I was wondering if I was going to stumble onto Vinatieri. Does not appear so. Did this player win a Super Bowl in the 2000s? So we'll say for the purposes of this, we'll say from the 2000 season through the 2009 season. So from the Ravens to the Saints.
Gotcha. Let me take a look here to get the exact things because it doesn't show me. Does it show stuff further down where it'll say?
I think it would be under their like career
award and
achievements. Honors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't find it, I can withdraw the question. I don't want to.
I mean, I can. I don't think it'll be difficult to look up. But let me see. If you go to playoff awards, I was hoping maybe it would say.
It says if there's a playoff section, which I'm looking at Chris Carter's page now, see if there is, because he definitely played in the playoffs, if not the Super Bowl.
There's a tab for playoffs, but it doesn't. Okay, here we go. They do have a little trophy for Super Bowl. next to it in the
Okay.
playoffs. I'm gonna say this. And I'm sorry, can you repeat your question? I forgot the specifics of it.
Did he win a Super Bowl in the 2000s between 2000 and 2009 regular season?
No, he did not.
Okay. Did this player play in the 1990s?
No, he did not.
Okay. I had a player that came to mind. Did this player play in the 2020s?
Yes,
Okay. Did this player win a Super Bowl with an AFC team?
yes.
Is this player Justin Tucker?
It is not Justin Tucker.
Ah. Hmm. Let's see. So what teams do we have here? The Patriots. I don't remember how long their kicker has been active. Could be the Broncos. Did this player play college football at a Power 4 school in the current Power 4?
Pretty sure I know the answer, but I am verifying the school's conference just because
Okay.
there's been so much shuffling.
If it's the player I'm thinking of, then it isn't that he is Power 4, but I'll let you look so it's not giving anything away before I guess him.
Yeah, and Power 4 would be Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC.
Yes.
And this player did not play at a current Power 4 school.
Ooh, okay. So it wouldn't be Steven Gostkowski because he played at Louisville. 2015 was the Broncos. I think I remember who their kicker was, but I'm not. I think it would have to be the Broncos because I think Gostkowski was the kicker for a whole bunch of those AFCs. Is it Matt Prater?
It's not Matt Prater.
Oh, okay. Is it the player that was the kicker for the 2015 Broncos?
It is not.
Oh, okay. So I'm forgetting somebody. So 16 is how many questions am I at? First of all,
I got you at 13.
okay. So go through the Super Bowl champions of the 2010s. Packers, NFC, Patriots, Ravens, and I guessed Tucker. I don't think anybody else would have been their kicker that year. Unless, well, that guy wouldn't have played into the 2020s. We established that he played in the 2020s, right?
Yes.
Okay. The only other AFC team that I can think of that's won a Super Bowl in that sort of general range would be the Chiefs, and I don't think Harrison Butker played in the 2000s. Oh my god. Did this guy win a Super Bowl for the Ravens?
No.
Okay. Huh. Okay. I'm hoping this is entertaining for people to just kind of listen to me
Like this is.
suffer here.
I'm trying to keep the straight face so hard right now because
Okay. Huh. So, forgetting about the Steelers in. No, wait, no, it's 2010s. They didn't win a Super Bowl in the 2010s.
no, the answer is not Jeff Reed, who I think was the kicker on their Super Bowl winning teams.
On the 08 team, yeah. Huh. Okay, 19 season was the Chiefs, 18 season was the Patriots, 17 season was the Eagles, 16's Pats again. Did this player win a Super Bowl with the Patriots?
Yes.
Okay, so is it Steven Gostkowski? Am I forgetting where he went to college?
Steven Gostkowski went to Memphis.
Ah, okay then. Okay then.
With the words, it can't
Like
be Steven Gostkowski came out of your mouth, I was just like, oh, goodness.
yeah. Okay, well, I got there eventually, but
Yeah,
not
he
not
went
my
to
finest
Memphis.
hour. Win's a win. All right. You want to do baseball or basketball?
Let's do baseball.
Okay. Pick number 1 through 3.
I haven't picked one yet, so let's go with one.
Hi. I have this player pulled up whenever you are ready.
All right. This player. All right. I guess I'll start with this. Is this player in the Hall of Fame?
No.
No. Okay. And I'm sorry, Remy, what our threshold was? Is it 2,100 or
It's
whatever?
2000. To play at
2,000, right?
least 2,000 games.
All right. This player play in the 1980s.
Yes.
Okay. Did this player play in the 1990s?
Yes.
Okay. Did this player play in the 1970s?
No.
And did this player play in the 2000s?
Yes.
All right. We got 80s, 90s, 2000s. That's a good start.
What are you, a commercial for the Arch?
I'm going to pretend like I get that joke because I don't see St. Louis commercials because I don't live there.
I was talking about 1065 The Arch, playing all the variety from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I think it's
Oh,
or
yeah.
maybe today. I don't remember.
Yeah, I believe it's today. That actually used to be one of my favorite stations,
Regardless,
was the Arch. Um,
it's like a classic station that plays in like a place of business because it's acceptable to a wide swath of people.
yeah, I think as I texted you, we were talking about this thing. The perfect encapsulation of my like musical listening styles, ranging from having like the theme from Schindler's List by John Williams, and it was right next to Asia's Heat of the Moment. That's that's pretty much my dad vibe right there. So, um,
At
is it?
this point, that's like a granddad vibe. To be fair,
I mean, I guess I am
like
pretty
I
old.
think a dad vibe that's like I think like a current dad vibe would be like like Bon Iver or something.
That's fair. Um, was this player an infielder?
Yes.
Okay. Did this player log? I can't remember on how it breaks it down by position. Like, is it easy to tell like what position they played most of their games at, or is that
Yeah, I can get you that.
okay? Did this person play a majority of their games at second base in the major leagues?
No.
First, play a majority of their games at first base.
No.
Shortstop.
Yes.
Okay. 80s, 90s, 2000s. Did not win a World Series. Did this
Don't
was
believe you
first?
asked a question about the World Series.
Oh
You
no!
asked if he
Oh,
was in
it's
the Hall of
not a
Fame.
Hall of Fame. Sorry. Um, was this player ever an All Star?
Yes.
Was this person ever a most valuable player?
No.
Did this person win a World Series?
Yes.
Did this person win more than one World Series?
No.
No, so one World Series. Okay. Did this person win a World Series in the 1990s?
No.
Did this person
You're
win
at
a World
14.
Series in the
You're,
how
you're
many?
14 questions right now. You're at 14
Okay.
right now.
Did this person win a World Series in the 2000s?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I can go through here. Think of, and when I say 2000s, we mean 2000 to 2009.
Yes, correct.
Okay, well, 06 with Cardinals. Yeah, right. I know the 01 was Diamondbacks. The Giants have multiple in there. That's when they did their like every other year bull crap, wasn't it? Or is that later? That might have been later. I don't. The championship was vacated in 04. They didn't play it. It's a real shame that year. Yeah, there's a lot of one-time winners in the 2000s. That sucks. But okay, so let's
I mean, on
think
the
here.
other hand, you did eliminate the. Well, not to give away too much, but like for instance, you guessed like the 2000 champion won a bunch of other World Series right before that, so
That's true.
that can inform the multiple World Series win thing. Or this could
Well,
be a mislead, and he was only on the team for 1
but you
year.
also said not a Hall of Famer, right? So it's like, wasn't Jeter their shortstop on those teams?
Jeter was the shortstop for the 2000 Yankees. That's correct.
Yeah. So let's think here. 01 Diamondbacks. 02 was. Oh, that was the Anaheim year, right? That was the Angels. I won in 02. Marlins in 03. Red Sox in 04. Um, White Sox beating the crap out of the Astros in 05. Cardinals, Tigers in the ugliest World Series of all time, but we'll take it. 06. Red Sox again in 07. 08. Or freshman year of college.
Yeah, I'll let you know that 08, I don't think had any players that were born that played in the 1980s on their roster. Probably.
Probably
Actually,
right.
Jamie Moyer might have been on that team. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, but he wasn't the shortstop. Jimmy Rollins would have been the shortstop. Granted, you
yeah,
said they won a
correct.
World Series. It did not say they were a starter for the World Series
Correct.
team.
I did not say that. Yeah, I don't think there'd really be a way to like conclusively say that unless they played in all
Yeah.
162 games or
Well,
something.
I think there's a playoff game log you could look at, or there's game logs,
Oh,
so you may be able to
that's
look at it.
true. Yeah,
But you also didn't say they were a shortstop. You said they put most of their games there. That doesn't mean they were a shortstop when they won the World Series either.
correct.
Oh
That is
man.
correct.
Okay, so I got to use some of these guesses, I think, to pick teams. I'll shoot in the dark first and be like, do they win a World Series with the Cardinals?
No.
Uh, that would have been too good to be true.
Yeah.
All right,
And in
let's
that
see.
case, David Eckstein also won a World Series with the Angels, so
Yeah.
wouldn't have been the
Well,
starting
yeah,
shortstop at the very
I would have
least.
had to think. Yeah, I would have had to think if there was a guy on the bench. Did this person win their World Series with the Marlins?
No.
That wouldn't make sense. They'd be way too old to play on that Marlins team. They didn't have any old guys.
Yeah, I think they probably had very few players that played in the 1990s on the
Yeah.
03 Marlins.
What do I got? Three left or two left?
You have three questions left
Three
before you
questions
submit a
left.
final
Okay.
guess.
All right. Did this player win their World Series with the 01 Diamondbacks?
Yes.
Okay. Primarily played shortstop. On the 0-1 Diamondbacks. Okay. Now I got to think of that team. Cardinals legend. Tony Womack was on that team. But
It's true.
Tony Womack was a second baseman, I believe, his entire career.
No.
Was he a shortstop? Is
He
it
was a
Tony
shortstop on
Womack?
the 0-1. No. It's
Alright.
not Tony Womack. I just wanted to clarify that he was the starting shortstop on the 0-1 Diamondbacks. I'll give
Was
you
he a
that
shortstop?
much.
He was?
Womack was, yeah.
Alright, let's see here. Matt Williams was on that roster. Steve Finley, Mark Grace, Luis Gonzalez. Obviously, know those guys.
Yeah. No shortage of guys that played in the 80s on that roster.
Yeah. Or like David DeLucci, I think, was another one of their outfielders on that team.
I believe he was.
So okay, this guy's probably not.
So you have one question left until you get to
Yeah.
the final guess territory, or you can just guess two players.
Did this player become a manager in the major league?
I believe I know the answer to that off the top of my head, but I am going to look. Does not appear he became a manager.
Okay.
That would eliminate Matt Williams.
And Craig Counsell.
Oh, true, yeah.
That's why I asked it. I'm like, well, it gives me more than one. Matt Williams, I don't know. I think he.
Craig Counsell won. Craig Counsell won multiple World Series. He won with the Marlins in '97.
Oh, that's right. He did.
Played in the 2010s with the Brewers. Yeah. All right, you have to give a final guess right now.
I have to give a guess now. Jeez.
Yes.
2,000 games played. The only other guy I can think of on the team who's old, but I only ever think of him as a second baseman. Right. So is it Jay Bell?
It is Jay Bell.
He was a shortstop?
He played zero shortstop for the 0-1 Diamondbacks, but he was primarily a shortstop like with the Pirates whenever he was a viable and decent player.
Yeah, I guess he never became a manager. He's a coach, right? Or he at least was with Cincinnati for a while.
Are you thinking of David Bell?
No, I think Jay Bell was a coach with. I don't think he was
because David Bell was the manager of the Reds. That's why I'm asking.
No, I thought he was a coach too.
I mean, regardless, though, you got it. Jay Bell.
Jay Bell
barely played over 2,000 games, but 2,063 games.
Yeah, I mean, he was the only guy I could think of because I think the only other like infielder I could think that was like a super young junior Spivey or something, like when he was playing the infield.
Yeah, I don't know if he was up there yet, but regardless, definitely didn't play in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you pulled it out because.
Jeez, that was.
All right. So
All
right, on to baseball now.
Yeah, 1, 2, or 3.
Unfortunately, so your audio is working completely fine, but your video is frozen, which don't bother fixing it. It's fine. But it also means that I can't read visual cues, which is a little scary. We'll go 2.
All right. It is. Turning my camera off and turning it back on. See if that helps you.
Now I don't see anything, but it's fine.
All right. I can see you and everything on mine, and that's still the best part. All right, I have the player pulled up. Ask your questions when ready.
All right. Did this player primarily an outfielder?
No.
Was this player primarily an infielder?
They were indeed.
Okay. It's probably not a ton of catchers that fit this criteria. There are some pitchers, but I figured position players were primarily. Did this player play in the 1990s?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Is this player in the Hall of Fame?
Negatory Ghost Rider.
Okay. Did this player play in the 2000s?
Sure did.
Okay. This player play in the 1980s?
No, they did not.
Okay. I was kind of wondering if it was Jay Bell again, but apparently not.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Like, you'd have had to go with it. Like, so 90s and 2000s, might have played 2010s as well, but I'm not going to bother on that right now. Did this player play, was his primary position a middle infield position? So second base or shortstop?
I believe I know the answer. Is there an easy way to see the breakdown that you found in terms of?
Yeah, if you go down to fielding, at the very bottom, it'll have the positions in descending order.
Okay. Okay, then. Yes, primarily a middle infield position.
Okay. This
For the record,
player
that is
ever
what I
win a?
thought.
Did this player ever win a World Series?
No, I did not.
Okay. This player ever an All Star?
Yes.
Uh, did this player, and this would be available under their like standard stats page on the far right? Did this player ever receive MVP votes?
They did.
Okay. Um, did this player primarily play shortstop?
Yes, they did. Halfway there. 10.
So he's a shortstop. Did not win the World Series. Um, Is this player American?
I think American is a state of mind, but no, this player was not born in the United States. And to my knowledge, not an American citizen.
Okay. I guess I should clarify, since we had this discussion last episode too, that when I say American, I mean in the 50 states and DC, because the Puerto Rico thing is relevant. Though the player that I thought of is not American and not Puerto Rican. So
Players not.
did this player ever win an MVP?
Yes.
Okay. Did this player win an MVP with a current American League team?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to think of any other ways to narrow it down before I guess. Just to kind of
I
have a
think
little
you've
fun
got
with
it.
it. Um,
I mean, there's a very fun
was this
question you could ask.
was this player portrayed by Royce Clayton in the 2011 film Moneyball?
That information is not on his baseball reference page.
Okay.
But the
So
answer
absent
very
that,
well could be the answer to that question may be yes.
so absent being able to ask that question, I'll ask: is it Miguel Tejada?
Yes, it is.
There we go.
You could have asked, do we know this
Yeah,
player's real age?
I'm not sure that the player knows the player's real age.
That's fair.
All right, so Miguel Tejada, it is. I don't think he
Well,
really
that's
got
right.
even like consideration for the Hall of Fame, even though he won MVP. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we might as well round out the sports.
Yeah.
Basketball 1 through 3.
Back to all
I will
three.
let you know
Maybe.
ahead of time. One of these is by far the easiest. What was your number?
3.
Okay. You go right ahead and ask some questions.
All right. All right. Is this player Did this player play in the 1990s?
No.
Did this player play in the 1980s?
No.
Did this player play in the 2000s?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't care about 10s and 20s at this point, unless I'm asked. Is this player active?
Yes.
Okay. I wish that made it easier, but there's quite a few active guys that are over 920 games. Okay. Has this player won an NBA championship?
Yes.
Okay. Has this player won multiple NBA championships?
Yes. So you're at 6 questions.
6 questions. Has this player won multiple NBA championships with the same team?
Yes.
Okay. This player win at least one NBA championship in the 2000s.
So in the 2000 to 2009 decade,
Correct.
he did not.
Okay. Did they win one in the 2010 to 2019 decade?
Yes.
Did they win multiple in the 2010 to 2019 decade?
Yes.
Okay. Is this player a guard?
Um, you narrow down the question a little bit.
Is this player classified on Basketball Reference in position as a point guard or a shooting guard?
Yes.
Is this player primarily a point guard? Or are they
No.
identified as a point guard? Okay, so they're identified
They're not identified as a point guard.
So they're identified as a 2 guard. Won multiple championships with the same team in the 2010. I know I technically didn't ask that, but I'm making that assumption. Not Steph, because he said not a point guard. I would imagine he's listed as a point guard. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see if I can narrow a team here then. Did this person win their NBA championships in the 2010s decade with the Golden State Warriors?
Yes.
Is this player only listed as a shooting guard on their Basketball Reference page?
No.
Do we either get this best player or Greg Oden?
I believe that Greg Oden is the best player, but I cannot answer that question.
Okay, in light of that, is it the 7-foot shooting guard Kevin Durant?
You couldn't say I didn't try to save you from yourself on that one, but yes, it is Kevin Durant.
Well, he was the only one that made sense because I didn't think I don't think Clay's had that many games.
I don't think so either because he got hurt so much and he debuted in 2011. So
Yeah,
Yeah. Remember when I said that one of them was by far the most famous player of the
I
three
think
that I
I
had?
selected. I think I selected that person.
You know, you sure did. I'm not sure if there's a single player in basketball history that is like that much more famous than him.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like, well, I wanted to narrow with the same team because at that point, it's like, could it have been LeBron? With the question I
Yeah.
was asking. But
Maybe Iguodala counted as a shooting guard at one point, but yeah, I mean that's a good call. Okay, so
all right,
give me number 2.
number 2. Alrighty. Pull up his basketball reference page real quick. And I am ready for you whenever you are.
This player play in the 1990s.
No.
This player play in the 2000s.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. Is this player? Did this player ever win a championship?
Uh, you sure did.
Okay. Um. Was this player a top 10 draft pick?
No, he was not a top 10 pick.
Okay. Has this player ever made an All-Star game?
He has.
Okay. Is this player listed at 6'8" or taller?
No.
Okay. Under 6'8", so probably a guard, maybe a 3. Other positions get less likely. Um, did this player won multiple championships?
Yes.
Did this player win a championship with the team that drafted him?
No.
This player win a championship with this player win a championship in the 2010s.
Yes. Oh, wait, hold on. I
This
think. Oh, sorry. No, not in the 2010s.
Not in 2010s. Okay. I was wondering if it was Andre Iguodala because I'd referenced him before, but his were in the 2010s. So, okay, multiple. So he drafted in. So he didn't win any rings with the team that drafted him. Correct.
Correct.
He won his rings in the 2010s when he was drafted. Okay. Interesting.
No, did not win rings in the 2010s.
Oh, did not win rings. Okay.
Yeah. That's why it wasn't
Okay.
Iguodala.
So he won it in the 2000s, which is also the first decade he played in, unless he just skipped the 90s for some reason. Okay. Is this player American?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Got the Lakers, got the Spurs.
That's your halfway point to your 10 questions.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams that won multiple rings in that time besides the Lakers and the Spurs, and I don't think so. Because the Pistons won one, Celtics won one. Okay. This player is this player listed as a is shooting guard among this player's positions on Basketball Reference?
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. Was this player drafted out of a Power Four um, school?
Mm.
I realize it doesn't apply as much to basketball, but all the schools have basketball programs.
Again, pretty sure I know the answer, but with the conference realignment to verify, yes,
So he is Power Four. Okay.
he is Power Four. Yes.
Let's see. Was this player drafted in... No, I'm not going to ask that. Huh. Does this player have point guard listed as one of his positions on Basketball Reference?
Yes.
Okay. So we got a little bit of a combo guard of
Full combo
sorts.
guard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Kobe because he didn't go to college.
Where did he go to, like
Wouldn't
Lower
be
Marion or something?
in high school, yeah. It wouldn't be Parker or Ginobili because they are not American. I'm gonna get up there for my barking dog real quick. Gotta go back through these teams who won multiple titles in the 2000s.
To be clear, not saying either way, but I don't believe you asked that question.
Oh, I just asked if they won a title in the 2000s.
No, you just asked if they played in the 2000s. You have not. The only question about titles is you asked when they won titles, and it was not the 2010s.
Oh, that's true.
I'm not saying either way. You could be right.
Yeah, that's true.
Just keeping you on track for what you've asked.
Okay, so who's one? Huh. I feel like I'm like Guskowskiing it right now. I'm very nervous.
I mean, you haven't wrongly said anything about this player, and you've not said their name yet, at least saying it's not them. So you got that going.
I got that going for me.
I'll give you that hint.
So 2020 is the Lakers. 2021 is the Bucks. 2022 is the Nuggets. Their 23 is this. Wait. I'm forgetting one in there.
Yeah, 23 was Nuggets, 24 was Celtics, right?
Yeah. It was 22 then. Huh. Oh, 22 is the Warriors again. That's right.
Yeah. I'm like, even I remember this one.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be Steph because he won titles in the 2010s.
Yep.
I
also believe he's only listed as a point guard on Basketball Reference.
Okay. And we did verify that this player had multiple titles, period, but not...
This player has multiple titles, yes.
And none of them were in the 2010s.
Correct.
Okay. Did I ask if they won multiple titles with the same team?
That question has
And
not
if
been asked
not,
yet.
okay, I am asking now. Did the player win multiple titles with the same team?
No.
Ah, okay. So this is a player who could have conceivably, in his kind of older years, won multiple titles. Oh! Did this player win his first title with the Bucks?
Yes.
Is this player Drew Holiday?
It is Drew Holiday.
There we go.
You
All
were so
right.
stuck in that 2000s loop. I'm like, I know you love you some Drew. Like,
I do love Drew, but he debuted in 2000. He was drafted in 2009, so
yes.
yeah.
But I did not lie. He did play in the 2000s. It was only a couple of
Yeah,
months, but he did.
you're correct. No, yeah, you're right. I got there eventually. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I before that, I would have asked if he was married to a World Cup, a women's World Cup champion, maybe. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I could have been confused on what the Trinity Rodman relationship is. Just heard the last name and rolled with it.
She has won a World Cup.
Oh, okay. I guess
She
yeah,
has
she's on the younger
she
side.
has an Olympic title, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, because she scored the goal that won the Olympics, right? If I remember right.
That's correct. And also, Trinity Rodman is not married to Dennis Rodman.
She actually barely talks to Dennis Rodman, and has openly talked about how she doesn't care about her dad.
Yeah,
Because
the modern Cheryl Ford in some ways.
yeah, you know.
If your dad was a Hall of Fame power forward in the 97 and 98 NBA finals, you will have a bad relationship with him, but you will be a professional athlete. So
I mean,
there's that.
you know, it's. I guess you take the good with the bad.
Yeah. All right. I think we're that was fun though. I had a good time.
Yeah, that's fun.
I feel like first criteria I think of these is always to make sure that we have a good time, because like ideally other people will enjoy it, but if we can ensure that we enjoy it, then there's at least two people that enjoyed it. And
exactly.
based on
And
the fact
I,
that the dog started jumping on me, I think he enjoyed it too.
yeah, I think so. And yeah, I think no. I mean, this, like I said, this is something that like. I mean, there were times where I feel like I even forgot that it wasn't just me and you chatting about this stuff alone, because it's the kind
Yeah,
of crap we
hopefully
do together.
I don't think we have any super long pauses. Hopefully we didn't get too crazy there, but if we did, that like fast forward 10 seconds button might be coming in handy for people who or
Yeah.
or if
And
you
while
listen
you're
on
hitting,
Spotify, you can go at super speed.
yeah, or if you want to take that 10-second break on wherever you're listening to go ahead and drop a 5-star review. You know,
Nice. Nice.
see what I did there. But yeah, I mean,
This
get
is
the word out. I think we're starting to pick up a little bit, get our mojo back. To got some fun ones, I
yeah.
think, in the pipeline. So
So this is only tangentially related, but it's related to something I said before. Do you ever listen to podcasts on like sped up?
I don't podcast, but I do audiobooks sped up.
Okay. I can actually see that a little bit better because audiobooks tend to be read at a pretty leisurely pace. I
Yeah.
find people who listen to like I've heard people be like, "Oh, I listen to podcasts at like 2x speed." And it's like, why? Why would you do that? Like, okay.
Yeah, like I do books at like 1.5 speed, maybe more or less, just depending on the cadence of the person reading. But I think
Yeah,
that
that's
when you're having
probably
conversations
situational.
and stuff, I think the pauses and stuff are very much like
Yeah.
part of it. It's kind of like people who like it. Like, would you watch a movie at 2 times speed? I'm sure there are people out there who do it, but to me, it's like that can ruin the art form at times.
Yeah. I would agree that our podcasts are art and should be consumed the way that the visionaries intended.
It was funny. I was explaining last night. I work with some youth kids in our church, and like I told them, yeah, like because they were talking about wanting to start like YouTube channels, and they were trying to tell me that they wanted me to start one because they came over and saw like my card collection, and I let them rate it and take whatever they wanted and stuff. And you should start like a YouTube channel. So I'm like, I'm already busy enough with being a dad and working and podcasts. They're like, oh, you have a podcast? What's it about? And then I
Oh
told them what it
no.
was, and oh my goodness, they could not have been more uninterested.
Okay. Yeah. You gotta let them
Which,
know that we have some non-sports ones. I don't know.
yeah, I told them about the Hot Presidents one. Don't worry. And the faces of
Sure.
11-year-old
Yeah.
boys when you tell them that you have that one, they're like, I know nobody could see the face I just made, but it was a good time. But so I'm like, yeah. But as I told John, we're not in this to be famous. If it could catch fire and we could get money from it, cool. But guess what? No sponsors yet. We're
Yeah.
we're gonna break the EJ's Nido stat of the night. No sponsorship for record. And then what? Ernie Johnson, he's sullied by no one.
I don't remember. I will
Yeah.
take your word for it.
I used to be really into watching Inside the NBA, and now I don't even watch sports that I enjoy now because I have children. And I'm currently, for the first time, watching the television show ER
Okay.
on streaming, and it's
Exciting.
that's
Yeah,
my
George Clooney, Noah Wiley,
yeah. There's a lot of people. Like
Ant-Man.
William H Macy. William H Macy is in it. Like has a
Ant-Man.
pretty prominent role.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd? Huh, okay.
No, you said Ant Man, right?
I was referring to Anthony Edwards. Isn't that the guy's name?
Oh yeah, the guy from uh, is he in Top
He's
Gun?
in like Top Gun, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anthony's in it. Juliana Margulies is a pretty,
Sure.
and these are all just people
Uh,
from the first season. I'm only like 15 episodes in.
cool. I watched very little ER. My mom was a big ER fan. She watched it with my sister when my sister was like 5 or 6 years old, which
Hmm.
seems like it's probably not what you
It
should be doing,
it's
but
kind of incredible to me a little bit in the sense of how like ahead of the time some of the stuff they tackled on it was like within the first 10 episodes, pretty much like well, the very first episode you have a suicide attempt and some other things like there's a transgender person in an early episode, which is kind of crazy for that time, I feel
yeah,
like.
like 1995, yeah,
Yeah.
or
So
whatever, something like that.
they tackle some tough stuff. It's been interesting to watch. I just like medical dramas that aren't called Grey's Anatomy. So,
Yeah, from what I can tell, ER has a darker tone than Grey's.
yeah. I mean, it's funny every time it pops up. I mean, the creator of the show is like Michael Crichton. So,
Yeah, that's
if you've
true.
ever read a Michael Crichton book, he's not exactly the happiest of authors.
Happy-go-lucky fellow, yeah. All right, let's
But
you already
yeah, yeah,
advertised to people that they should check out the podcast, that they should rate the
yeah.
podcast. So
But where can the people find you, John?
you can find me on Twitter at JohnJF125. You can find me on Blue Sky, which seems to have a lot of new people signing up the last couple days. Not going to comment on why that might be, but you can follow me there at
Something happened.
JohnJF125. You can check out my baseball writing, which will probably happen again at some point in the somewhat near future, at stlbullpen.com. That's what I got. What do you got?
I mean, if you really want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at DraftDayDadShaw. Um, I tweet like 3 tweets a week. Oh, that's a very good boy on John's camera currently.
Yeah. The incentive to people to at least check my Twitter account is I'll post a picture of Tyler in the near future. I do that a lot anyway, but I'll do one specifically for this episode.
Yeah, I mean, my Twitter, I don't know, it's pretty uneventful, but who knows? If you want me to be more active on Twitter, let me know in the comments or tweet at me. Hey, you need to tweet more. Just tell
I
me
would
what you
never
want me to
ask you
tweet
to be
about.
more active on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think even if somebody like did it, I had my heyday where I was overly active on Twitter, and I went through weird phases of like doing like top 3 lists and the haiku Twitter I was a big proponent of.
I think that was like an account or two ago, but
Yeah. This was back in my days. Ooh, and Jamar Chase just scored a long touchdown, which is good for my fantasy team.
it's also good for the Cincinnati Bengals,
Who are about to go up 21-7 on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
All right.
But
I like
yeah.
both of those teams. I have no strong opinion.
Yeah,
I guess go Bengals. Go owner that voted against Rams relocation. But it's all fine. All right. Yeah. Unfortunately, since your camera is not working, I can't really know for sure when the best time to have like the hard like cutoff that we've been doing the last couple of episodes would be, which is really bye everybody.